Hey everyone, I'm the Anime Watcher, and today I have watch all episode of Demon Slayer Season 2 in 0.25x speed and found 40 amazing detail that you may or may not have seen before. To not waste any of your time, let's get into the juicy detail. Detail number 1. The series picks up where it left off from the Mugen Train arc, where Rengoku uses flame-breathing ninth form to attack 𝐒𝐫𝐫𝐫. However, if you look closely at the animation of the dragon, you can see a flame mixed with some lightning coming out of the dragon's mouth. This might imply that Rengoku's ancestor used flame breathing combined with thunder breathing to create this masterpiece. That's why this form can make him move so fast, similar to thunder breathing. Detail number 2. As Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke boarded the train, I spotted a girl who bore a striking resemblance to Nezuko when she was human. Her outfit and hairstyle were almost identical to Nezuko's before she turned into a demon. When Tanjiro walked past a mother and daughter, their eyes and hairdos reminded me of Tanjiro's mother and his younger sister. I think the studio did this deliberately. It was a subtle hint that Tanjiro was going to dream about his family and Nezuko in her human form. Detail number 3. When Rengoku died, Inosuke placed both of his swords on the ground in a cross shape to pay respect to Rengoku. Rengoku was the first person who received such a gesture from Inosuke after his death. Because if you remember in Season 1, Inosuke didn't even understand the concept of burying dead people or feeling remorse at all. Detail number 4. The reason why Muzan knew that 𝐒𝐫𝐫𝐫 failed to kill the other 3 demon slayers on the train, even though 𝐒𝐶𝐫𝐫𝐫 didn't tell him anything, was because 𝐒𝐶𝐫𝐫 had Muzan's blood. And remember, Muzan had the ability to sense or see things through his cells. Detail number 5. When Tanjiro ran to Rengoku's house by the river, there was a person on a boat who was wearing a cat mask that was similar to the cat masks that Urokodaki always gave to his students. But in theory, this was actually Urokodaki coming to visit Rengoku's dad, because remember, they were both former Hashiras. So Urokodaki might have come to visit his friend when he heard about Rengoku's death. Or he might have come to look after Tanjiro secretly because he was worried about his favorite student. Detail number 6. When Tanjiro came back to the butterfly mansion and ate with the boys, we could see that only the food on Inosuke's table was messy. I just love this small detail because it showcases their personalities. Detail number 7. Notice that even when they were shirtless training, Tanjiro still lifted Nezuko's box on his back. It's not because he didn't want to leave Nezuko in the butterfly mansion, but because he wanted to use Nezuko to motivate Zenitsu to train harder. Detail number 8. Some people said that Tengen was one of the few people who didn't have a Demon Slayer mark appear during the fight, but if you look at his eye, the mark on his eye was actually the Demon Slayer mark, just like the mark on Tanjiro's forehead. What do you think about this one? Detail number 9. At the scene where Tengen slapped Aoi. A lot of people from the Western world, especially America, were not happy about that. But you gotta remember, anime is not made for kids. Besides, there are a lot of anime that have worse scenes than this one. It's like a cultural thing of Japan anime. Detail number 10. Have you noticed why Tengen paints his nails green and red? Well, the reason he paints his nails green and red is because his wives couldn't agree on just one color. He has 3 wives, Makio, Suma, and Hinatsuru, who each have a different preference for nail polish. Tengen decided to compromise and use both colors to please them all. He also wears different earrings and headbands to match their tastes. Tengen loves his wives very much and is willing to do anything for them, even if it means risking his life as a demon slayer. Detail number 11. Tengen is the only Hashira who makes a normal hand movement when he runs. The other Hashiras always put their hands like this, just like Urokodaki, to make themselves lighter. Detail number 12. When Tengen sold Zenitsu to the Oiran house, we could see that Zenitsu knew how to play the shamisen very well. If you didn't know, his grandfather taught him how to play this instrument from a young age to improve his sense of hearing. More than that, he could also use this instrument to fight the demons. Each note had a different form of its own. Detail number 13. The man who Inosuke punched through the wall was the one we saw from the intro song behind Inosuke. This man also looked similar to the one Muzan killed by punch to the wall from Season 1. Detail number 14. When the owner caught Inosuke doing a weird gesture, This was actually one of his beast breathing forms, when he was trying to focus and use his spatial awareness ability. Detail number 15. The reason why Muzan liked Daki was not because she was strong. As we could see, Muzan treated 𝐿𝐫𝐫𝐲 like crap, even though he was stronger than Daki. The true reason behind this was, 1. She made him a lot of money. Even though he was the master of all demons, he still needed some income to pursue his plan. 2. He treated her better just to make her brother Gyutaro happy. Gyutaro was actually stronger than the Upper Moon 5 and 4, but he gave up his rank because he didn't want to do it. He just wanted to protect his little sister. I think the second reason was more realistic, because the Upper Moon Gyoko also made Muzan a lot of money by selling his art. But he still treated Gyoko like crap too. And if Daki and Gyutaro had won in this fight against Tengen and Tanjiro, Muzan would have promoted them to Upper Moon 4, as we could tell by the way he talked to Daki in this scene. Detail number 16. Inosuke was really a big fan of the muscle mice. He even blushed when he saw the muscle mice deliver the sword for him, which was rare, because Inosuke never blushed, or was a big fan of anything, which made sense since he grew up with animals. The only person who Inosuke admitted that he was cooler than him was Rengoku. Detail number 17. At this scene, Daki forcefully pushed Tanjiro to another building, but a lot of people wondered why Nezuko's box still didn't break even though the building behind him broke. But remember, Urokodaki said it was made of hinoki wood, which was a type of cypress that was known for its strength, resistance to rot, and pleasant aroma. Hinoki wood was often used for building temples, shrines, and baths in Japan. Moreover, the building in the back was just made out of normal wood, so it made sense that Nezuko's box was stronger than the building. Detail number 18. At this scene, even just a few minutes into the fight, Tanjiro's sword already chipped again. Tanjiro's sword always broke and chipped because it was not compatible with his true potential and breathing style. Tanjiro was the only demon slayer who could use the sun breathing style, which was the original and most powerful breathing style in the Demon Slayer universe. However, he chose a scarlet ore for his Nichiren blade, which was not suitable for the sun breathing style. Detail number 19. When Tanjiro used fake rainbow form, everyone was shocked. Where did he learn that from? Tanjiro learned the fake rainbow form from watching his father's movements and the book that Rengoku's father rewrote for him. But the reason he could perform it well at the first time using it was because he had his ancestors' memories. The fake rainbow was actually the 11th form of the sun-breathing style. When we saw the Upper Moon meeting at the end of Season 2, we also saw the Upper Moon 1 using this 11th form to travel from one place to another as well. Detail number 20. The ultimate move of Daki's blood demon art was powerful. It could even cut through the building. But notice that the slash could not cut through Tanjiro because not only he had strong muscles, but he also used breathing technique to make his muscles denser. The pain only came back whenever he finished the fight and stopped using breathing technique. Detail number 21. When Tanjiro cut Daki's leg, she was not only able to grow her leg back, but she also could regenerate her tabi to normal. But notice that in Season 1, when Nezuko got her leg cut off by the flying ball, she also could regenerate her tabi too, but in this season, she couldn't. So that meant it was either a mistake from the animators or Nezuko accidentally used that power by accident. In theory, Nezuko always could regenerate her clothes back, because we could see her clothes get ripped so many times, especially when she got cut by the Lower Moon 5. Detail number 22. The way Nezuko kicked Daki's head off, if you watched in slow motion, you would see the blue light and air effect that was similar to the air-type blood demon art that 𝐿𝐫𝐫𝐲 used. Nezuko might have access to a lot more power than we think if she continued to develop. Detail number 23. When Daki was crying, Tengen already knew something was about to happen because he dropped his knife from his shoulder to the side, preparing for another unexpected attack. Detail number 24. At the end of the season, when Gyutaro used his last ultimate blood demon art to destroy the whole town, believe it or not, no one actually died in the explosion. Because if you remembered, the other two of Tengen's wives had already evacuated all the people from the town. Tengen had fought a Lower Moon before, So he knew that the 12 Kizuki had the ability to destroy a big town like this. If not for Tengen and his wives, thousands of people would have died. He saved more people than Rengoku on the train. Detail number 25. The reason why Jutaro's senses and strength were stronger than his sister's was because he held more pain and vengeance than his sister when they suffer as a human. The more pain you has as a human, the more powerful you are when you become a demon. If not for Gyutaro, Daki might have been just a lower moon demon. She literally nearly got killed by non-Hashiras 4 times and once by Tengen in this fight. Detail number 26. Tengen might not only be able to hear normal sounds and convert the fighting sounds to music scores, but I think he also had the special ability to hear someone's thoughts as well. Because in this scene, Tanjiro thought, "No matter what," and Tengen suddenly continued the phrase from Tanjiro said, "We win." Even Tanjiro was surprised. How did he know his thought?
No matter how strong they are,
we'll win! 'Cause we're Demon Slayer Corps!
Detail number 27. The reason why Daki and Gyutaro called Tengen's knife an axe was because they were mocking his weapon and his fighting style. They thought that his knife was too big and clumsy. They had never fought any Hashira who used this type of weapon before. Detail number 28. Notice that Tengen's back had 6 white fabric belts on it. They were used for holding his sword. He also hid his assassin bombs in his belt. Detail number 29. When Inosuke used his sword as a saw to cut Daki's head off, if we watched closely, he not only cut off her head, but also her hand that she tried to push the sword away. Detail number 30. The reason why Gyutaro thought Uzui was dead was because he used his breathing to stop his bleeding and stop his heartbeat, but he's still listening to the sound of fighting all the time. So he waited for the right moment to get in because he had to use his breathing to stop his blood from flowing out of his hand. Detail number 31. The reason why Zenitsu was able to fight and push Tanjiro away from danger even he closes his eye was because Zenitsu used his sense of hearing. He was able to hear the explosion and know where it would strike even without seeing it. Detail number 32. Notice that the demon was not affected by normal flame light at all. He even walked through the flame, but nothing happened. So that meant there were some spectrums that only existed in sunlight that could burn the demon. Detail number 33. The fighting technique that Gyutaro used was called grasshopper. That's why he used a sickle, because it made his movement more similar to a grasshopper, and every strike he used aimed for the kill, just like when a grasshopper hunted its prey. Detail number 34. Jutaro's scratching habit was a sign of his mental instability and his twisted personality. Gyutaro liked to scratch himself when he was angry, frustrated, or jealous. He was very cruel and ruthless towards his enemies, and he enjoyed killing and torturing them. But this bad habit of playing with his enemies before he killed them was also the reason why he got killed. Detail number 35. At this scene, when Tanjiro was about to die in this crazy fight scene, Uzui came to save him on time with one hand holding his knife and another knife holding by his mouth. But notice the way he stopped the sickle. He used the hole on his knife to trap Jutaro's blade and saved Tanjiro a little bit of time to move away. Detail number 36. This scene when Tanjiro decapitated Jutaro's head was his strongest form that we saw so far in the anime. We didn't see him transform to this in the Swordsmith Village arc. Detail number 37. Notice that Gyutaro said he was born in the lower class of the entertainment district. So that meant they didn't have a father since his mother worked as a yujo there. And that explained why his mother died and Daki and Gyutaro had completely different faces, because they could have had the same mother but different fathers. So technically they were more likely step-siblings. Detail number 38. If there was someone out there who had the right to be a demon, it had to be Gyutaro. No matter how much he shouted for help, no human or god offered to help him until the demons showed up. Sometimes this situation also happened in real life too, so be nice to each other in the comment section. You never know, you might be the reason why demons exist, because of your bullying people who try their best to survive. Sometimes your words can kill somebody on the other side of the world. You probably have killed someone already by your mean words that you put on the internet throughout your lifetime. but you will never know you did it. Detail number 39. The reason why the animator showed Daki was able to go to the heaven or reborn and Gyutaro was go straight up to hell is because Gyutaro was doing bad since he was a human, but Daki only start being evil when she became a demon. Detail number 40. The reason why 𝐿𝐫𝐫𝐸 hated Upper Moon 2 Doma so much was also because Upper Moon 2 liked to eat pretty women. But 𝐿𝐫𝐫𝐸 never ate women since he became a demon. Out of all the upper and lower moons, even though they were all evil, 𝐿𝐫𝐫𝐸 was the most loyal one. So that's all for today's video. Subscribe to get more content like this.